Okay, you were muted, Nina, but I
Oh,
think
sorry.
you
Yeah, I
said
said let's try
all
that
good.
and see if it records the view that I want.
Perfect. Let's do it. Let's do it. So super happy you're all here. And Carol, I love that you showed up again. This is a monthly reset and a monthly hormone series I'm doing here for the Wonder Woman community. And the whole purpose of doing these monthly webinars is for women to have a space, first of all, to come to with questions, because I'm very aware within female health and hormonal health and the medical industry, not there's not always answers to be found. And also, hormonal health is still very new. So, this is a space for you to come with questions, to get more clarity on things. And then, more than anything, just build more awareness. Because with awareness, we can get so much further and just feel much more connected to ourselves. So, that's where it all starts. And this month is quite an exciting topic. It's a mix of ADHD, burnout, and how it's connected to the female cycle. Because also ADHD is not always very obvious for women, unlike men. And this also connects with why we're actually tired and how it's connected to exhaustion and burnout. So we're going to dive into everything. I'm very aware we don't have too much time. So in the end, there's going to be time for a Q&A, so you can ask all your questions. But before anything, I would love to know the energy in the room, where you are at, how you're feeling. So, from a 1 to 10, what are your current energy levels? And to share where I'm at right now, I'm on day 3 of my cycle. So, period day 3. And I'd say my energy is a solid 7, which I'm happy about. And I would Yeah. Carol, can you maybe put your for now on mute? It's maybe a bit easier for some background noise. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so where are we all at? Carol 3, Carol 6. Okay, we're more on the low energy, and that's very expected with the topic of today. And then, yeah, with you feeling so tired and your energy being lower, which area of your life do you feel is affected by this exhaustion, and also is affected by ADHD if you might be diagnosed with ADD or ADHD? So there's quite a mix there. It can be influenced by, well, your career can be influenced how you show up, your confidence, your focus, obviously, then relationships. When being burnt out, obviously, it's harder to show up. And also, your relationships can be affected through ADHD, through just commitment and following through and staying on top of everything, and your health, essentially. At the end of the day, everything is also connected to how you feel within your health. So, Carol, all 5 topics, I feel you. They're also very interconnected, so it makes sense. And yeah, Kiara, relationships, absolutely. Um, Before we get into everything, it's any of you here, maybe you can raise your hand or just put in the chat box yes. Any of you have been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, or are pretty sure that they have it? Carol, yeah. Me and yes, double confirmation. So same here. I struggled quite a bit, but cycle awareness has helped me so much with this, and you'll get more clarity at the end of this webinar. So how hustling through everything and that making me feel so tired, and my ADD, my concentration issues came in between everything, is it came in between my career, how I performed. I don't know how many times you've been maybe told to focus, and it's very frustrating because when people tell you to focus, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden it switches on and you can. Um, my confidence, it was quite interrelated, where it made me feel less competent. because I wasn't able to focus in school. I had to do everything self-studying, and same with work. It's all trying to figure it out on your own, and it can feel quite lonely. So it definitely also affected my confidence and and kind of being a forerunner and speaking up, and ultimately health as well. So I caught through neglecting my cycle and through neglecting my energy levels and how I felt. I was just always pushing through and pushing through and pushing through, regardless if I was tired, regardless where I was at in my cycle, I would always push through. As if we operate on a 24-hour cycle instead of a 28-day cycle. And this led me to have many different symptoms, and a couple of them are I had incredibly painful period on the left corner. These are my legs. I was sitting in a train with my legs up, and I asked the girl next to me to get paracetamol from somebody on the train because I could not stand up. I was close to fainting because I could sense the pain tolerance being too high. And I was on my way to the airport to catch a flight, which I did not want to miss, so I could not hide somewhere. And on the right side, you see me at the hospital because my bleeding was so heavy that I had to call the ambulance and they had to pick me up from home. And I was not in pain, however, but I I think it's also something that we women sometimes do, is I said, I'm totally fine. It's really silly. I'm in an ambulance right now and you have to carry me like this because I'm not in pain. Don't worry, I'm not in pain. But sometimes, these signs, they are important, and it's really important to notice when something is alarming or slightly off and call for help. So, yeah, another thing I struggle with is acne, but it's a whole journey, and this led me to me being here right now. So it's super nice to have all of you join, and I love that you're showing up for yourself, showing up to learn something new, make time for yourself, for education purposes as well, and just a little check-in. And all that struggle of focusing, all the struggle of healing myself, that's actually what got me to today, to becoming a certified menstrual cycle coach and hormonal health specialist. And it was partially for purposes of self-healing because I did have my own struggles. And currently as I said, I'm on day 3 of my period, and I feel great. Thank God. And partially as well because I'm very passionate about um, creating a life that your future self craves, that better version of yourself, that version that feels amazing, that shows up for herself, and really how you want to feel every day. And I do believe that we're able to utilize our cycle as a strength, as a source of creativity, as a source of productivity, as a source of connection. And there's so much power within our menstrual cycle. And yeah, that was my fascination around hormonal health and why I'm here today with all of you. So, what is really going on? Before we dive into everything, type in the chat yes if you have heard of the 4 phases and you know what they are. I'm not quizzing you, but just to see where the knowledge is in this group. It is our superpower, yeah, Nina. Okay, Kiara, yes, I know I kind of know what they are. And Carol, I know from your workshop. Awesome. Okay,
I
perfect. So
the
yeah.
reason I kind of know is because I'm one of those women that was on birth control for pretty much my entire
Ha.
life. So I never went
Yeah,
through any of the phases. It was just all level.
1 phase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
like last year I got off of it just to see what happens. Like just
yeah.
shits and giggles.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm learning what they are.
How has your experience been?
I am on day 1 of my period, and I realized yesterday, 2 days ago, I was super cranky for no reason. That was
Yeah.
fun.
Well, there was a reason. It was day
There
one of
was,
your
yes.
period.
But I woke up and I just was not having it. Like the birds outside were annoying me.
Yeah.
And I put
Yeah,
my
everything is
headphones in and
triggering.
went back to bed. And
Yeah.
then yesterday I was still like a little cranky. Today I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've noticed like there are certain times of the month where I'm either exhausted or I can actually do things or I just can't focus. So now I'm learning
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah. 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 No, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting to recognize how you're showing up differently and how all of a sudden these new emotions and new symptoms are showing up. But staying in bed was the best decision you could have done. So good on you.
It was also probably best for anybody around me too.
So I'm happy we got you today. Okay, so we're already at a good space here. Everybody's a bit aware of the four phases, which is awesome. So we have our main sex hormones, which is estrogen and progesterone. But there's a lot of other things as well that it influences. And before anything, our cycle can go between, I'd say, 21 days to 31 days. That's a healthy cycle. If it's more than that or less than that, text me afterwards. But we operate on a 28-day cycle around, not a 24-hour male cycle or model. And currently, the life has been set up um, perfectly to operate for men. It's all based on how men can optimize their days, perform the best way. So for us, it's actually even on top of that harder to really live that way day by day and perform really well. And it's even been there's been studies and statistics where women have 20% more burnout than men. And it's because we try to push through and push through, even when it doesn't serve us at that point of our cycle. And it's not as balanced. So those hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and cortisol, which is our stress hormone, it regulates our energy, our dopamine, our focus, stress, and mood. And over here you see a little graph, and on the pink one, that's estrogen. And estrogen can also be seen as that Beyonce hormone, that hormone that makes us glow, feel good, energized, you're on top of the world. And the first 2 weeks of your cycle, as you can see right after menstrual phase, or starting already, it's elevating and elevating and elevating. And that's also a hormone that is connected to dopamine. So whenever there's estrogen presence and estrogen goes up, your dopamine goes up. So what does that also mean? It means that you're more focused and more motivated. So that's why it makes sense for those first 2 weeks for you to just feel better about life, about your decisions, about yourself. However, as you can see, as everything, well, as we beautifully operate, we will operate like a beautiful roller coaster. And it goes down after ovulation. And that also means less dopamine in our system, which means less focus, less motivation, but then also more of these ADHD symptoms because the less dopamine we have, the more all of a sudden we start to feel more brain fogged and distracted and emotionally overwhelmed, which are typical ADHD symptoms. So that's how that connection happens. And that's how the reason why the second phase of your cycle, so that time before your period, it is harder to focus and it's harder to find motivation. So there is a connection there. And it's just biology. It's nothing to do with who we are, how we are, our capacity, any of that. But even deeper, what is really going on and how do all of these hormones, that estrogen, that progesterone, that cortisol, how does that support us and what does it do throughout the month with us? So I just created here a little overview so there's a bit more clarity. And even though estrogen is a beautiful hormone, it's that feel-good hormone, it does boost dopamine and focus, but But as I said, it does drop before the period, before your period time, those 10 days. So brain fog does show up and you do feel overwhelmed. And progesterone, which is the hormone that is quite low in the first phase of the cycle, as you can see on the graph in is that brown, beige? But then it goes up after ovulation. And it's a beautiful hormone because it is kind of that feel-good hormone, that hug. It calms the nervous system, but it's it also influences obviously our motivation and our energy. So it is not that pump that is that double espresso that we have. It's more that calm energy that is actually amazing to embrace. However, in as we do fluctuate, I think often we women think every day needs to be a hardcore day. Every day needs to be an ovulation day. So every day I need to feel like I've had 2 espressos and give my everything. But it's not how we serve our bodies properly. And there's actually a lot of strength in slowing down and refocusing our attention to different kind of tasks, which are maybe more inward. And just as an example, in terms of work, what that would look like, there's organization that you can do, which can be outwards. You can call all the different vendors, you can call all the contacts, you can organize everything. But there's also organization that you can do inward. So that can be mapping out the planning, researching behind your computer, doing more deep work rather than outward stuff. So that's how that difference can be seen. It's more within your space, and that's going to serve you much more in that second phase of the cycle. And cortisol, our beautiful stress hormone. So cortisol handles stress, and well, if it's dysregulated when you're burnt out and you're really tired, it does worsen PMS and it does worsen focus. So that's how all of these are connected, and as you can see, it's like a beautiful wave. And how is burnout connected to all of this? Basically, after a while, your brain is running on empty and your battery is running on empty because we tend to hustle and to hustle and to hustle and not take a step back and maybe slow down or revise everything, or give ourselves a little bit of credit that we've done really well. So there's burnout can look very different with and without ADHD. Um, Kiara, this was very informational. Thank you. I have to leave now, but I'll look forward to the next one. Amazing. Kiara, if you are still here, did she already leave? Ah, she did. She's gonna have a replay anyways. So without ADHD, when you're burnt out and when you're really tired, you can get tired, but you can recover more easily. However, without ADHD, it's so much tougher because you don't recognize that you're burnt out. So it makes it harder to recover. And also, without ADHD, burnout can feel quite emotionally numbing. And with ADHD, you feel overwhelmed because there's too many stimulus happening around you. And without ADHD, socially, you would withdraw and step back. However, with ADHD, you try harder to prove yourself that you belong, that you're capable. And I see Carol nodding yes. Um, and without ADHD, you can feel sometimes that you can rest. And without ADHD, you feel guilty for resting because it feels like you're not allowed to rest because it doesn't serve you. Who rests in this world? And without ADHD, you feel with burnout drained. You're just empty. You're done. And with ADHD, maybe emotionally, it can feel more like you're broken and quite disappointed in yourself. But just to say that all this is yeah, it's not it's often as well, it's our perception of something. And it doesn't mean it's the reality of the emotion itself. Yes, you're burnt out. Yes, you're tired. However, you don't need to prove yourself harder, or you don't have to feel guilty resting. But there's a way to do it is aligned, and that's what we're going to get into right now. So the main root cause, and this again, it goes back to everything within female health, is hormonal health. But it starts with awareness, and it starts with aligning your cycle, having more awareness of your cycle so you can actually align your tasks. And more than anything, in our first phase of our cycle, so that's the ovulation and your, I always call them seasons. So I like to use inner spring and summer. So that's the follicular and the ovulation phase. Estrogen, it's a hormone that kind of helps us. It makes us perform better because of that dopamine as well. But when it's not there, we really need to support ourselves and we need to actually look inwards more. And that's why often these symptoms of feeling tired, they show up more in the second phase, in your luteal phase. And that's because we are operating in that 24-hour cycle, that 24/7 hustle culture. And also in Bali, people hustle. Everyone you meet is hustling. And every meeting you do or every get together, it is a workshop or it is networking or it's always around work. So it is really hard because there is this intrinsic needs, but yeah, we do have a different cycle. And before we get into the tips, because I do want you to walk away today with some more takeaways on first simple steps that you can implement. There's 3 ways how they show up in your body, and also kind of 3 main reasons. So the first one is blood sugar instability. So if you eat every day the same, move and exercise every day the same, and you don't change it up, you pretend like every day you're in ovulation phase and you're giving it your all, it's gonna create instabilities, and the food actually can be aligned with your cycle. And same with your nervous system, feeling overloaded because you're always on the go. And then lastly, it comes down to the awareness, building up awareness about this. So here are some signs, some ways it shows up, and after sharing all of them, maybe let me know in the chat which one speaks to you, if it's blood sugar or nervous system or awareness. So how this shows up with your blood sugar is in the afternoon, you'd have a crash. So around 2, 3 p.m., there's really that dip that happens. Another thing is a lot of cravings, cravings during that PMS time. I think PMS cravings are common because our metabolism actually burns is faster, and we burn 300 calories more in our autumn/luteal phase. So we should be eating more, but the right kind of foods. So there's a difference there on how to actually nourish yourself smartly. But then there's also a limit as to what is actually those 300 calories and what is actually maybe that PMS craving that is kind of erratic and is more linked to an imbalance. The second thing is nervous system overload. And that could be feeling overstimulated, tired and wired, always having to be busy, having a hard time sitting still. I think the scrolling Instagram, it doesn't help our society right now. And I'm also guilty of this. And being constantly in that fight or flight. And this also leads to having trouble sleeping, having anxiety, having brain fog. And that fight or flight, it's more present as well in the second phase of our cycle, in our luteal phase. Why? Not more naturally, our right over here, I see some things. Afternoon crashes, constant fight or flight. Okay, so it's a mix of, oops, of both already. So in the second phase of our cycle, which is our kind of that PMS time, that autumn phase, our body beautifully, beautifully protects us by raising our cortisol, raising our stress levels. And it doesn't do it because it hates us. Our body does it out of self-protection. So after ovulation, your body thinks it might be pregnant. Well, with Carol, it's very obvious. Your body knows. But after ovulation, your body just naturally elevates your stress levels slightly because it wants to protect the potential baby. It wants to protect the potential pregnancy. So those 2 weeks before your period, you're going to notice everything much more. Like you said, Nina, you start, even the birds are annoying you. And everyone is, you notice many more senses, and actually your senses are heightened. You notice more things around you. And it's because of self-protection. Our body created this, did this for us, elevated our cortisol levels so that we are able to protect. And that is our natural instinct, is to nourish, to nurture, and to protect. So through this and through our cortisol being elevated, it's as important to do practices to lower this down, especially in the second phase, because we're more prone to stress. And the last one is lack of awareness. So this could come up through exhaustion in the luteal phase and menstrual phase. Low libido is also a hormonal symptom. PMS, acne, which I struggled with recently, and thankfully I'm in healing right now, and painful period as well. So any of those are showing up as well? Okay. Now, as we don't have too much time, I wanted to share one little tip per section, but to go much deeper, I could do a whole other session on this. But first of all, eat for blood sugar support. And this means in the morning, start your day with a combination of protein and healthy fats. So this means not with sugars and not with carbs, because this will spike your levels. And more than anything, what does that do? It slows down the absorption of glucose in your body. So that will support you for the rest of the day. And that's why that combo, protein in the morning, making sure it's a good dosage along with healthy fats. Try it for the, let's say, 3 days, but even from the first day, you're going to notice that even cravings throughout the day are going to lower. And a second one, which is a huge one, and I say this to all my clients, and it's always an adjustment. It's no, Nina, are you guilty? So no coffee on an empty stomach. It doesn't mean no coffee. Drink your coffee. I have my coffees every day. However, in the morning when we wake up, what wakes us up in the morning? It's actually our cortisol, our stress hormone. It's on its highest peak in the morning, and that's why we wake up. But what do we have to do when it's really high? We should nourish ourselves in the first, let's say, maximum 90 minutes. Ideally, within 1 hour of waking up, eat something. That's why intermittent fasting, it's not those in hormonal health are not the biggest fan of intermittent fasting, but there's a way to do it though. And that's why when you wake up, eat the first 90 minutes or 1 hour within waking up so that your body can feel, I'm safe. I'm okay. I don't need to look for food. I don't need to, I'm fine. I don't need to survive. So that will lower your cortisol levels. However, imagine you wake up, it's already a bit higher. You decide not to eat. You're gonna fast. Okay. Your body's gonna, feel a bit more prickle, notice more things around you because it's in danger. It's going up. But then imagine you're like, no, I'm just feeling like coffee is my meal. You drink your coffee, it's going to spike it even more. So aside from just spiking the blood sugar, it's going to spike your cortisol levels. And that's why in the morning you will start your day very alert. But it doesn't mean it's good for your blood sugar nor your nervous system. So have your coffee with or after your breakfast. So it's going to save you a whole lot. And then another thing is support your nervous system. Aside from the coffee, when you wake up, and I know that Carol now created such a beautiful morning routine. It's so wholesome. But before you start your day, and especially with us always being so busy, wanting that dopamine around us, put your phone, wait, hold off, don't take your phone yet, and sit with yourself for 1 second and actually ask yourself, how do I feel today? Okay, interesting. I haven't, if it's not maybe you who's asking you that question, maybe nobody will ask you that question today. Then what do I need today? And then lastly, how can I give this to myself today? Because these are very small acts of kindness that we can do to ourselves. And these are three very powerful questions. And when you ask them to yourself every day, you shift how you start your day, how you treat yourself, and it helps with just regulating your nervous system from the start of the day. And another beautiful thing is just taking deep breaths. And we don't breathe enough. So just inhaling deep and exhaling deep before we start the day. And then the last thing is start tracking your period. So for those who don't use any apps yet, you can also do it with a paper tracker. If you're interested, whoever's watching, text me, I'll send you the paper version. You can print it. So it's nice to have that paper pen connection. However, I use this application called Clue. There's also one called Flow. I've written it down over here. And they are free to use. And it's so important to mainly track. I'm not asking you to track anything, everything, but just track when you bleed. And then you know around how long your cycle is and when your ovulation is on average. And it's going to give you a lot of awareness when you start having symptoms, when you start feeling erratic or stressed, or check your tracker. Maybe there's a reason for you feeling that way. And then you can be kinder to yourself. And then a big benefit as well here is to schedule those outward, those creative, those dopamine feeding tasks in your follicular phase, in that springtime. And your luteal phase, which is, no, Nina is menstrual, I'm menstrual. But it's still the energy that we are in. It is more inward stuff. It's more admin. It's repetitive work. We don't need to start finding ideas. Oh, it's at this point, it's not where our brain is going towards. It's more about repetitive stuff and inward things. And there's a way to track it as well and to align it with your cycle. And then for those who are able to have a flexible schedule, schedule their own tasks, schedule rest as a non-negotiable, and block out some time on your period to slow down, to rest a little bit more, to sleep in a little bit more. And it's going to help you for the rest of your cycle. You're going to notice that all of a sudden you'll have much more energy. So these are things that I used to do. So I used to wake up tired even when I slept 8 hours because my nervous system was on overdrive. Another thing is I can't stay consistent and I crashed halfway through the month. And this was a big one. So number three, I used to say, why can't I focus like other people? And it sucks. It sucks to feel like it's kind of less competent, but it's not. It's definitely not. It's a superpower. And the last thing, I don't feel like myself anymore. So all these symptoms, all these the bloating, the disconnection, the focus, it can make you feel a bit more distant. And not aligning with your cycle, it can also make you feel less in touch with your intuition and your feminine. So from these four, which one do you feel you resonate most with? Okay. So from before, Carol, thank God I don't drink coffee. I love all the tips. Nina, I definitely lack consistency. Yeah, number two. Kara, number four, why I don't feel like myself anymore. I think definitely the pregnancy also connects to that. But yeah. And yeah, just to also give some hope and some light, there's changes possible. And this is even a couple of ways that you can kind of shift the narrative, bring more awareness as to this is normal and we all go through this. And there are steps to make you feel more like yourself and to feel incredible, to be honest, and to really live that life and be that version of yourself that you love. It is there, it is in hand's reach. But currently, and how I also shifted it for myself is I feel steady and I feel rested even on my period. However, I'm not trying to force to be extroverted. I'm not trying to go to any festival. And even if I go to a festival, I will stay in my bubble. So there's a way to socialize even when you're on your period that respects your energy. And you can still be inward whilst being with other people. But you don't always have to show up a certain way around other people. It's more about listening to how you really feel and showing up that way. Another thing is my routine's finally in line with my energy, and I understand how to map everything out. And another thing is I know which part of my cycle affects my focus and how to work with it. And I hope now after this webinar, you also have a bit more of an understanding as to why it fluctuates and why your focus shifts throughout your cycle. There's a reason for it, especially with that connection with ADHD. It's even more amplified. And then lastly, I feel clear, calm, and confident again. And partially that is also because of that nervous system regulation of because the more cortisol, the more stress hormone there is in your body, the less progesterone is produced. And progesterone, if you remember, it's that hormone that is calming, that's soothing, that makes you feel relaxed, that makes you sleep well. But it can't exist if stress is existing. So it sucks it away. So there's that connection there. Now, from all the habits that we covered today, which one are you most excited with to try first thing?
I would love to align my diet to the cycle.
Mm.
I think that's also a good topic for us to do next time too.
Yeah, definitely. Nina, I'll actually send you a freebie I created, and there's also a little bit more about diet on there. But that is a huge one. Definitely a good idea to cover next time. Yeah. Carol?
I will start doing the questions in the morning. I like it
Mm.
because I always pick up my cell phone really fast. So I need to stop a little bit. Yeah, it's good. And to breathe a little bit, it's
Mm.
important.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah, it changes
Yeah.
the tone of the day.
But I
Amazing.
was thinking about the thing that you said about during the afternoon, the crashes. I feel that, and it's really hard for me to take care of my baby, like after 4 or 5, because I don't have any energy. And if I just start eating protein in the morning, it will change that.
It will definitely help. You're gonna notice a
Okay.
difference, yeah. Because that
Because I,
spike is
I
not
eat
gonna go
eggs.
up and down.
Okay. I eat eggs every morning.
Okay.
You think it's maybe I need to eat more?
How many eggs do you eat?
Just one. I don't
One egg.
know if it's
You could definitely increase it. You can definitely have 2 eggs at least. Because the protein would still
like
be quite
yogurt.
small. If you can
Hmm.
combine it, eggs, nuts, yogurt, it's quite a nice protein-rich
Nuts.
breakfast. And then see how
Okay.
far it gets you throughout the day. And even to snack on healthy stuff, or do you eat every 3 to 4 hours? Are you quite consistent with your pattern?
More 4 hours, but
Okay.
yes, but
Okay.
not sometimes not good food.
Yeah.
Right now, I eat like four sweet things
Mm.
just during this workshop.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So I
Yeah.
think you see the connection already. Maybe
Yeah.
try to switch that up and get some snacks that are
Yeah.
protein rich. Maybe boil some
Okay.
eggs as well. So you can have an
Yeah.
extra
Yeah.
egg in
Yeah.
the afternoon, or you can have that Greek yogurt, or what I also love is have banana with peanut butter. It's such a
Ah,
rich
yes.
snack as well.
Okay.
And you can even combine it with some extra nuts. And that
Okay.
will really also just keep you going and not really have that dip very quickly.
Perfect.
Yeah, amazing. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, for all the women who will watch this again, because I know, Carol, you know about my program. And what I help women with is I take them on a 3 month journey. So it's or 2.5, 3 months journey. So it's 12 weeks. And the whole reason for this is because our cycle, it would take at least around 3 bleeds to regulate, to balance your hormones, and also to start creating habits, because it's also about just creating new habits, creating new routines, and that becoming your lifestyle. And really creating a lifestyle that is easy for you and feels good and nourishes you from the inside out. And the whole journey I take my women through is a mix of nervous system regulation, energy, rebuilding that cycle of those cycle aware routines, to essentially making you feel like yourself again, and making you feel excited about everything again, and yeah, just more connected. So as you can see here, there's like a 3 phase method I take women through, which is all the foundational and juicy stuff like blood sugar, adrenal, nervous system, gut, estrogen clearance. Um, so yeah, that that's what I'm here actually to support women with, and these are just some testimonials that I have from women I worked with, and that's the whole reason why I do this, is basically here to support all of you, and to show that this is also possible for you, and yeah,
It's
thank you
amazing work,
so. Oh,
really,
thank you, Nina.
because more women,
Appreciate that.
I think now we're starting to see a lot more women be cognizant of their cycle and this topic being discussed more.
Yeah.
Um, but I know for sure, like even 5 years ago, never mind before that, we didn't talk about it, right? Like even as women with each other, we didn't talk about it. Our doctors don't necessarily provide any information. They do the bare minimum, especially in the West. So it's really needed for women and especially for younger women to learn
Mm.
about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Even things like endometriosis and fibroids, it wasn't even unknown things, and you'd have to go to 6, 7, 8 doctors for one of them to recognize as something. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm glad that now at least there's more awareness, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
It's growing.
Yeah.
So yeah, if any of you have any questions, now is the time. Nina or Carol, anything that you want to ask, anything that you've been going through, anything you want to discuss, or that spiked your interest with this subject?
I am definitely like now that I'm giving my body a break from birth control. Like, granted, me and birth control have gone along for 20 years and it's been fantastic.
Hmm.
Because I've skipped my periods, I've enjoyed my life. And even when I haven't, it's like they were 3 days long with no pain, no moodiness. It was fabulous. Uh,
Yeah.
but also no babies, because I don't want them. No, no, Carol, not even a month.
Smart decision. Smart decision.
Uh,
Good for you.
but I'm like, now that I've been off of it for, I think about a month or two, a month maybe. I think a month. I'm kind of curious to see what my body will do.
Okay, it's been 1 month. Wow. Oh, that's an exciting journey.
But then the other thing, I was talking to another friend recently. So I'm 43 and she is 45-ish, I
Hmm.
think. Yeah. And she was also, we were talking about like premenopause or
Hmm.
perimenopause, right? And kind of
Hmm.
all the things that are happening around there with your hormones and your body. And she was talking with her doctor, who was recommending going back on birth control because it provides a higher level of estrogen than like hormone replacement therapy for perimenopause. So that was an interesting like topic.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So
It's
then I was
definitely
like,
something
wait,
that I
I just
think,
got off of it.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely something I think could be also interesting to host over here and talk about
Yeah.
perimenopause because I think the community, there's so many of them. It already starts it could start from late 30s, 37.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think definitely hormone replacement therapy can be good for those who want to, and I think it can even be better. However, it also depends what kind of hormone replacement therapy because
Right.
there's so
Yeah,
many
yeah, yeah.
kinds, so many types, and also it very much depends on your current health and your health history, which ones are actually good for you. So there's not really that one size fits all.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would definitely just maybe recommend your friends to look at all the spectrum of all the type of replacement therapies
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then maybe bring that to her doctor so that there can be a comparison made.
yeah, yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting topic.
One option. Yeah, super interesting topic.
And
Yeah, I was
ideas for the
thinking,
future.
yeah, yeah. So I was thinking for next time, aside maybe from nutrition, is because it's all women's community, all kind of within their business as well. Because there's a topic that I'm also super passionate about, which is productivity, how to align your tasks and everything with your cycle. And then the other one is perimenopause and menopause actually as well.
Those are, yay, girl, you've got topics for the next 4 months.
I know. There's too much to talk about. There's too much.
But that's good because this is definitely something we all need to learn, relearn
Yeah.
about.
There's so much to learn about our cycle. It's endless. It's endless. Yeah, it's definitely very fascinating. And no, I think I also love that you just have this platform um
Yeah.
for all of us to, be connected and share more. But with that, I recognize it's 1 to 8 over here, or 1 full hour. So I'll leave you girls, but Nina, thank you again for this space, for this platform, and for connecting all of us. And Carol, it was so nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
It's
too. Thank you so much.
And next time we're gonna see you're gonna have a baby, no?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
When are you
wow.
due?
What?
When is it coming? When is he coming?
The date is 22, but I think it's gonna come
Faster?
maybe next week. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know. Yeah, maybe.
I
Wow.
I'm
saw your,
already 38,
yeah,
38
yeah.
weeks.
Oh,
Yes.
God. I saw your post where you were, I guess, breastfeeding Jao, and I was like, wait, did you have a baby already?
Yeah. A
And I
lot
was
of people
confused because
thought
I was
that.
just talking to Milena, and like Milena would have told me.
I'm gonna tell you for sure.
We're very excited.
And you
Oh,
need to
wow.
come, please. Come to Brazil.
Yes, we will.
Yes. Yes.
I would
Next
love
month?
to. I would
Right?
love to, but
Yes, come.
yeah. I will
It'll
at
be
some point.
amazing.
I will at some point. I also have another friend who lives
Yes.
there, so at some point I will, and then I'll let you know.
You need to come. Yes, you're gonna
Woo!
Mm.
love.
Where in
Well, thank
Brazil
you for
are
the
you again, Carol?
invitation.
Where are you from?
Where?
Yeah.
Minas Gerais, nobody knows. It's
Ah,
between all the cities that you know, like São Paulo, Rio, Bahia, Brasília. In the middle,
oh, so you're
it's
in the
our
middle.
state. Yeah, but nobody knows.
Okay, well, now we
It's
get to
Belo
learn.
Horizonte. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Belo Horizonte.
Is it where your
Just come.
family lives? Your family and
Yes,
friends?
yes,
Okay.
everyone.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
the best place.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
And Mauricio is
Yeah,
back.
yeah. I'm gonna show you. How can I do this? Maybe like this.
Hey,
Both of us are working. Is it
He's so
Mauricio?
focused.
Mama? Mama.
He's so
Yes, he is.
focused.
Just this. Just this. Nina.
So focused and working.
Yeah. And John is with my mother-in-law.
Yeah. Aw. So you get a little
Yeah.
break.
Yes.
That's good.
It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, the schedule rest as non-negotiable. I'm gonna remember that.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah.